Welcome back to the last segment of the Fourth Estate, and we're hosting leaders of the youth wing of the National Resistance Movement. They deny there is a fight amongst their ranks, but they say there are some, they've been called many names, misguided, I don't know if someone called them insane or something a few minutes ago. But let's come back to this question. Mr. Chwanka, you didn't speak in the last segment. My question to you, in your view, as a national vice chairman for the NRM youth in Eastern Uganda, what are the three major challenges to the youth that you represent?
One of the challenges is the unemployment. Even when you look at the education, majority of them have not been able to go to school simply because they may not be, their parents may not be in position to pay fees, and even lack of ideologies. Really, one of the things which we even shared with the president was that when you are to look at the issue of unemployment, the entire youth of Uganda cannot be given jobs under the civil service, but there are other mechanisms where we can employ our youth. For instance, when you are to look at the sector of agriculture, so many youth, which we believe even the president is also looking at it with a keen interest, whereby there should be a fund to be given for the younger people who those ones who can do agriculture, to invest in agriculture, those ones who can do trade, to invest in trade.
Why do you think that the initiatives the government, the party you support, which has been in government, at least formally for the last 3 terms,
yes,
but in total for the last 28 years, have fallen short of addressing those concerns?
Well, the party has tried to, the party where I fall has tried to address only that the people have been implementing, because for so many occasions, for instance, I can give you an example in Busoga. The president has offered so many donations and even funding several projects, but the younger people have not been taking it up, and others have been misusing the funds.
You are the young
actually,
people. You are the young people.
And
in
actually,
Busoga.
some
the young people in Eastern Uganda.
And actually, some other youth think when the president gives something to develop others, they think it's like a give back for supporting the president, not knowing that
as a youth leader,
the president wants them to develop.
You think that is what the country can anchor on you as a leader now and as a future leader to take it forward?
Really, it would not be, and that's why I'm doing my job to tell the youth, when something is given for you to develop and to improve your life, please use it.
So you think that when the president carries money in a sack and brings it to Jinja, he's actually dealing with the problems of this country's youth?
Well, it's true.
And as a party, you sit and have a resolution and discuss and say, Mr. President, bring our money in a sack in the boot of a car, and our minister for the youth will see how it is distributed. And you think that sustainably resolves the question of unemployment and the poor economic situation and the bad education for the young people of this country?
It's not true that even many people have been saying that the president carried money in the sack. But what I have to tell you, many people have been not delivering the presidential pledges. For instance,
let him just finish his answer and then
when you had to check the money which was taken in Busoga, it was not money for distribution, but these were presidential pledges which the president pledged to several
but you
groups
think
of
that
people.
is a sustainable solution? And when you go in a meeting, either of the youth leadership or of the party leadership, you think this is a sustainable way to deal with the challenges that the youth in your area face?
I am very impatient, pardon my impatience. I'm never like that. But this is a matter where I'm very passionate individually.
Yes.
Because I think it's not just about you on this studio. I still believe the youth of Uganda today are rootless. And because they don't understand their roots, they cannot define their path. And they are allowing their path to be defined by people who derailed the youth. And that's why I get angry. This gentleman, the President Busoga, is from Busoga, the East. The East has a host of problems. Deforestation, the jiggers, Busoga is being laughed at for jiggers. Tourism has died in Busoga. And he's busy regurgitating government activities. But has a sign, hold it there. I want to try to help you learn how to do analysis of problems. It is better we learn from each other. If you go and look at government programs, those are activities. Analysis would require what are the outcomes of these activities? And finally, how have these outcomes impacted on the livelihoods of people in this country? You need to talk about you have given in nads, we have given in pigs, we have given in sacks, and you still have jiggers in Busoga. Has uneducated youth go back and look at what they taught you at school? Why have things gone wrong? That would inform your interaction with any political actor. That if you are FDC, what did you have? And I agree with you because of what you stand. Now, we are simply agreeing with political parties because, one, they are able to fund our wedding meetings. One, they are able to hold it there. So, Charles,
yes.
no, Charles, look here.
Yes.
Namara, no, I am coming to you. Namara, you know for a fact.
Yes,
Listen,
okay, let's do the progressive
Namara,
debate. I agree.
You are a youth leader.
Yes.
Charles, this is a big problem, and I'm not sure about it.
Okay, let's
Now,
have the
the
youth
issue
leaders
is,
answer.
look, in Uganda today, the youth have developed a culture. One is a camp. Everybody is looking for easy money. We are crying about unemployment. You should be thinking.
By
Okay,
Charles,
hold it.
by
Hold
Charles,
it.
by Charles,
Let me conclude what Namara.
Hold it, Chris.
Namara knows, for instance,
Yes.
listen, Charles, Namara knows, for instance, one of the cultures developing in Uganda, one, a culture of jealousy, a culture of blackmail, and this is driving our youth. The youth see a car, they want it tomorrow. Even those,
Okay.
I am concerned about the youth, Charles.
I
listen,
love the youth answer.
Youth who have no opportunity, I really defend them. But the youth who have opportunity, what do? Once they get the opportunity, a car of 40 million, he has no house.
Okay.
Land in Gayaza is 5 million because the youth are being driven by what they see others doing.
Thank you, Chris.
And you're a leader.
Let's conclude
you
this
promoted
discussion.
that.
Let's conclude this discussion.
Can I answer, Chris?
No, before I come,
by the way,
hold it,
I was
Shiwanuka.
going to answer
And
Chris.
Namara, hold it. Let me come to Chitata
All
again.
All right.
The issues Chris is raising are the issues that really affect the youth of this country. The tragedy is that you as leaders are not seen to articulate these concerns and hold the elders, those who control the resource pass, to say, this is how we want you to use our resource pass, this is what we want for the young people, and this is what will take the country forward. Where is that discussion within your youth league and within the party?
I'll let you know, I've always had a lot of respect for Chris. I've just lost it today.
That's political statement.
I've just lost it today.
Can you answer my question? Yes.
We as the young people, I know we are coming in to fill the space that was left by the youthfulness of Charles and Chris and his group. We in the NRM have forums, internal forums, how we come to influence policy, and one of them is regular meetings. And
it doesn't matter to a youth who's watching you whether they be from Luengo
hold a
or
meeting for allowance
from
and go.
Kabong. If they don't see that reflected in how they get jobs, in how they get a better life, and your youth in Luengo are looking at you and saying, this guy, what is he talking about?
yes, I've told you
Where is the
before.
evidence of these meetings? What do these meetings produce for us?
I've told you before. It doesn't matter how long what you discuss in a meetings takes to get to the people. But what is important is, are you somewhere and are you moving forward to arrive at something? I must able let you know.
Are you?
That yes, we are moving.
The last assessment, this government has been in power for the last 2.5 years.
I've been in youth leadership for the last 2 years.
Yes, the last 2.5 years, you run by a manifesto. By now, you should be looking at that manifesto and knocking off and saying, we have covered 50% of what we promised to do. Have you done that?
People are choosing not to read everything. People are choosing to read only
No, I'm providing you an opportunity here.
Like in the
Please,
Changwanzi,
tell our viewers on our manifesto, on the specific commitments to the youth, who are the majority supporters of our party and are likely to be the majority supporters of our party in 2016. This is what we can sign off today. This is how far we have traveled, and these are what we're discussing with the president, with the party chairman.
As a youth leadership, our major concern has always been to provide jobs to the young people.
And how many jobs have you created in the last 1.5 years?
Jobs are provided in two instances.
It doesn't matter. What matters to a youth watching you, educated or uneducated, is to say, we planned to provide so many jobs in 2011. So far, we have provided so many jobs. We have a deficit of so many jobs, and we expect to arrive at those jobs within this remaining period, and then we can move on the next.
Actually, when you talk about jobs, I think the NRM government will be able to provide more jobs than we provide.
You're not answering my question.
Than we promised the young people. I'm answering your question, only that you're not giving me time to explain to our viewers.
Because you're going to Luengo through Mitiana Fort Poto instead of going through Masaka Road.
Actually, that's a very big misconception. One of the best roads that the government of Uganda has put down is the road to Luengo. And on that, we ably thank our
And even
president.
the youth use that road.
We use that road,
only for
not,
the-
not for drying, not for drying cassava, not for drying
In trying
cassava.
to answer my
It's not
question,
only for the old people.
in trying to answer my question, for the youth, no, for the youth in
The
Luengo,
hospital.
you are now in Kiegegwa,
Under-
and I thought you were going to Luengo.
Under the Youth Livelihood
You're not
Program,
going to Luengo, are
a
you?
program that is here, the first of its kind under this regime. We advocated for it, and we have got it. And today, I must ably let you know that the youth of Luengo have got 300 million shillings for a start of this program in this year. And this is a plus. It has never happened in the history of any government, even those that Chris served.
Do you
What
agree?
have I said?
Do
Which government
you
have I
agree,
served?
do you agree, Mr. Chitata?
Yes.
You see, which
What-
one is this?
what should
Which
we
government
support?
have I served? You see,
That
the youth
it is
failure
okay
to analyze things.
for the president, who is your party chairman, to deliver youth support in his pledges, in a sack, instead of streamlined programs that can actually be seen and can be accountable to deliver
A sick
development to the
person wants to get off the bed in the hospital. He doesn't care how he gets off it. Now, we as the young people, we don't care whether the president brings his pledges in sacks, whether he brings his pledges in... what we care about, that's why I must hail the youth of Busoga. Although some mismanage them here and there, but I must hail the president that is spot
Okay,
on.
one last
He
question.
actually has a youth-friendly way of delivering promises.
Okay, one last
because
question.
we don't want very many bureaucracies. As you come to visit
One last
us,
question to you
come
before
without
we
pledges,
get out of here,
and
because I
then
need
move
to come
forward.
to Namara, and then we'll have to round it up,
Yes.
round it up, all of us. Going into, as you begin preparing for your party primaries next year, and going into the 2016 election. By the way, the Daily Monitor will be running an opinion poll that's been conducting across the country over what people think about leadership
I
and
want to assume
governance
it
and
will
many
be
other
factual.
issues. Professional
The story
leader.
is there tomorrow.
Yes, we'll going into the next round of your internal processes to elect leaders going forward. What are you as youth leaders and you from Luengo putting up as the key issues that must be answered for anybody who becomes, or any party that takes over leadership in 2016, be it your party or any other party, that must be answered regardless of political shades?
Right. Actually, given the facts on the ground, any party, notwithstanding which party, any party that will not put the agenda of the young people at its forefront
What is the agenda of the young people?
is deemed to fail. The agenda of the young people is just one, because there is no way you'll be able to influence policy and serve the young people without being part of the policy and decision takers. That will be the main agenda of the young people, is to participate in every process.
How
right
are they
from
going to participate?
Definitely. Through
How?
politics, through politics, we plan to be in the leadership. That way we are calling for
So you're
very
also
many...
planning to become a member of parliament?
You don't have to be a member of parliament to influence policy.
Uh-huh.
Even being a humble chairperson of Ruengo and being in the National Youth Council and being part of the civil society, youth civil society, you can be able to cause meaningful change for the good of
Thank
the
you
young
very
people.
much. Mr. Namara, do you think that it is healthy for your party to have internal contestation for every position, including that of party chairman and party flag bearer?
Well, number one, you know, of course, it is healthy to, if for example, you want to contest against the position, it is healthy to have competition. There's no question about it. But you see, there are two types of democracy. There's democracy through an election and democracy through consensus. We can agree by consensus that, Charles, you become our chairman if we form the group. If we agree, we're on good. But we can also vote and say, no, let's vote. So we can use consensus. When the consensus fails, then we go to vote. So what the NRM is still exploring is the issue of consensus. Whether, for example, for the position of the chairman, by consensus, can we have one candidate and we stop wasting our time looking for many candidates and spending time campaigning instead of now targeting the opposition that we're fronting maybe a solo candidate, because they're also having that idea of a solo candidate. So why wouldn't we in NRM, if we can avoid the politics of electing, then sending people to the field, every person is contesting, if we can build consensus and we have one candidate, there's no problem with that. That is part of democracy.
What do you want as chairman? What do you intend, your term as chairman of the youth wing of the NRM, to deliver to the youth at the end, by the time it expires, which should be in around June, August next year?
Well, thank you so much. First of all, we must understand how a political party operates. What is the role of a youth wing of a party? What's my role? Number one is to initiate policy, a youth policy that can be put into the government formulation and then actualized into real programs of the youth. And that can be done through passing a policy at SEC and then making a manifesto and ensuring that the issues of the youth are captured in the manifesto. You cannot have different programs every year. The programs are a 5-year program, and which were put in 2011 when we were there. For example, as we talk about the money for the young people, already people are receiving money for your own information. The issue of the student loan scheme, the money may be little, but it's starting and it's a gradual process. The Secretariat in NAD is ensuring that the young people get implements. It is there. And also, when you look at other indirect benefits that come with other programs, like, for example, the issue of infrastructure, I want to assure you, Charles and Chris, that when you talk about electricity, it does not only benefit the old people. When you talk about the roads, they do not only benefit the people. That's number one. Secondly, on the issue of monitoring, when we have initiated the policy, it has become a program. Are we able to monitor those programs? Our capacity may be limited in terms of resources, of how we can monitor. That is a weakness, I agree, within the party, and maybe which we can strengthen. But our role would be to monitor whether government programs are being run. Thirdly,
my last
it is
question
on mobilization to ensure that the party wins an election. And I can assure you that in our little resources, we are doing our best.
I'm wondering, out of the three you have outlined, maybe Chris can help me, if any of them is actually measurable or tangible
It is.
to the youth of this country.
I think it's beginning to be a bit reasonable in its argument when it brings the issue of monitoring. And clearly you can see that he supports a party which for the last 28 years has failed to monitor its own activities. And therefore, there's no outcome, there's no impact of these activities. So the youth are being affected.
But the monitoring
But you see, Dennis, when you go to that time, I tried to study those areas. Dennis, systems cause change in this way. An open system encourages new actors because they want new ideas to continue. I am not very sure whether the NRM is an open system, because increasingly we are seeing new actors. The number is coming, but with the old ideas. So you come to perpetuate an old idea. So there are no contradictions that can bring in a new way things can be done in NRM.
If the old idea is good.
And that is where NRM is lacking.
If the old idea is good,
Yes.
you stay with it.
Absolutely.
So if the old idea was corruption must be there, so corruption will continue. There must be a new way, and there must be new actors.
Then infrastructure.
And for the youth, who are supposed to be the new actors, to inject in new thinking, new momentum, to make things happen, are believing in the old ideas. Hold it, you'll come there. Secondly, Namara, there can never be any development without a behavioral change. Now, when you look at the youth setup today, I can summarily tell you, youth intellectually robust, but have mortgaged their heads for purposes of getting bread. And therefore there is no thinking.
Our time is out. We need to get out of here.
The youth are instead putting pressure on the old leaders to give them money for personal things.
That is not
Gentlemen,
true.
And not
That is
for
not true.
Gentlemen,
That
our
is
time
not
is
true.
out. Our time is out. We need to get out of here.
It's very dangerous. You are putting the leaders on pressure.
That is not true. That is not
Gentlemen,
true.
our time is out. We need to get out of here. I have been trying to look for those new ideas that can put this country beyond regime to the next level. And I don't know if I get those answers from the youth leaders that I have here, but we'll have another opportunity to have this discussion, to have a discussion that looks at the country, not at the regime, because we get lost if we focus our discussion at Chadondo Road, Block 10 Chadondo Road.
That's where we are. Maybe you're trying to fuse us
That's
with
the
the
epicenter. That's the
state.
epicenter.
Our time is out. Thank you.
are dying. Government was funding a project.
Thank you
for
very much,
beef,
Mr.
and it was
Dennis
not
Namara.
factory.
But
And
Thank you very much, Mr. Dennis Namara, for making time for the show.
This
Thank
way
you very
Chris
much,
loses it.
Moses
He
Chionka, for
thinks
making time for the show.
New
Thank
ideas
you very
come
much,
through
Ibrahim
regime change,
Chitata,
but
for
the
making
regime
time for
can
the
stay
show,
in
and thank you very
power
much.
and still deliver.
Chris Obore, thank you very much to you all our viewers for joining us tonight. And to join us again next Sunday
What about the
for another
roads?
exciting discussion right here
Our
on the
youth
Fourth
have
Estate.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Namara changed the